Okay, hi, hello. Let me make sure this is recording actually. No, screw it. If it is, it is, and if it is, it isn't. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Miriam. Ugh, this is too tight in my head. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Miriam. I'm a numerologist and I read numbers. As of lately, I have been doing random number generator on Google to provide you messages from your angels and guides. Essentially, for a little while, I was just letting them come to me from my dreams and all that, and there just were no boundaries set. So now they know that I come on here and I generate a number, and they have to tell you what they need to tell you with those numbers and to get me to say the things that they need you to hear or whatever. This number right now, 534, was yesterday's number. If you want to see that, you can look at yesterday's video. There was one before that as well. So this is the third video in this iteration of this series. We'll see how long it lasts. Okay, so for today, let's generate this. 417. Today, your number is 417. There is this stabilization beginning to happen in your like metaphysical purpose, like analytical self. Now it's interesting because the 417 or the 714 is another 4-8 energy. Yesterday I was talking about 8-4 and 4-8 and like to be mindful of injury or whatever. In this case, um, what I'm getting is like almost overthinking. It's almost like you're being really hard on yourself. Like you're expecting yourself to be a master already and like be like good and done, and that just, I don't know, it's like you're really, yeah, you're just being hard on yourself. That's what I'm really seeing. Instead of accepting the fact that like you are like the individual that you are, like you know that you're an individual, but it's like you haven't fully leaned into what your specific thing is. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're finally getting to the point where you feel that it's happening. Um, but this is another three, just like yesterday. Yesterday was a three. So this may be for the same people that we talked to yesterday, that may be for different people, because again, just because it's a three doesn't mean we're using the same stuff. It was a 534 before last time. And this one's a 417. And so really being able to go in and analyze. And so I think especially yesterday after I hopped off, I didn't say the seven thing. The 3-4 is a seven. It was a 5-7. And so this is another 5-7 essentially. So with the 5-7, the expansion of your purpose, the relief that comes with having a purpose, you've already to put in the work to start. You know, you've already put in all the work, the hard work that you need to in order to start doing this. Like you have started to like clear your day of frustrations and stuff. So what I will say is when it comes to meditation, there's like a lot of steps of meditation. And that can be kind of intimidating. But when you look at it, it's all really kind of like it makes sense. It's not just like, oh, now I have to just sit down and be quiet. When you learn it authentically, when you go through the actual, there's free stuff to learn online. But one of the things is to, in order to have a clear mind at the end of the day, you kind of have to make sure that there's nothing that you're holding on to throughout the day. So you have to act in a way that you don't have regrets, and in a way that won't make you go back and forth or like rethink an argument or whatever, because you already acted exactly the way your truest self wanted to act. So you know that and you comprehend that, so you don't have to think about it again. You're like, nope, that's exactly what I wanted from it. I don't have to talk about it with a bunch of people and go over it again and again and again and be like, you know what they did today? Oh, I was so mad. I was driving and this person hopped in front of me and they cut me off, and I was like, yeah, I gave them the finger, and we yelled at each other for a little bit, and then Then they drove off and all that. But then you keep telling that story again and again. And it's because in that moment you weren't necessarily acting to your truest self, which is with unconditional love. So somebody cuts you off and you immediately are like, screw you, I'm driving here, and giving them the finger. And then, like, turns out that person, like, didn't mean to cut you off at all and they were having a medical emergency. Or you're sitting there screaming at them and being so mad at them, but then just like 2 miles later, you cut somebody else off in the same manner. No, you're the jerk. Like, we're just all people doing the same thing. We're not completely free from faults. And then you're like, oh, and when that guy yells at you because you cut him off, you're like, hey, it was because of a reason. And you had a reason why. You weren't doing it on purpose. You weren't being a jerk. You weren't trying to just cut him off on purpose. It just happened. And that's okay. And so, if you act as in somebody hops in front of you and you're just like, huh, you know what, it is what it is. All of a sudden, your commute isn't as notable or something to recount again and again. So now you have time. You have extra time that you're spending on a subject that you care about that doesn't then inflame you again. Because even whenever we talk about those things like, oh yeah, and I gave him the finger and all that, you're not happy about it. You're not necessarily proud of it. You still have this like kind of like, I won't say a pit in your stomach, but I will say like it wasn't fulfilling. Little by little, you'll start laughing whenever stuff like that happens. Things that frustrate you happen, and you'll start laughing instead of being frustrated with people. And that helps to where you can have a clear mind at the end of the day. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel like you could have not given the finger to that person because you're, oh man, what if that was actually like, what if that was like the person, my client that I'm going to go meet right now? Because that's happened before. I had one agent back in the day, and she was driving into work. And I guess she was late or something, and somebody cut her off, and she's like, ah. And then they're honking at each other and yelling at each other, and she pulls into her job. And then the guy pulls in right after her. And she's like, oh, well, this guy wants to do something. No, he was there to pay his insurance bill. And she just went in and is his insurance agent. You never know. You never know. You never know. So funny. There's this certain amount of like respect that you're going to start having for yourself because you have been building a foundation of trust within yourself, of who you are as an individual, of what your purpose is, of what work you are able to do. Um, and that's going to bring a lot of relief. Honestly, the analyzation brings relief too because you're like kind of figuring out the why or you're figuring out your why. And so it's going to be fun and you can create from this energy. This is going to be easy to create in this energy. Okay. This is it. That's it. Much love to you. Keep a lookout for the numbers and stay synchronized and keep it a boop. Perfect timing. No, we're gonna not stay in the call.